Mizzou football announced an interesting hire Friday afternoon with Gaurav Verma as the program's first director of football strategy and finance. Now, this is pretty much similar to what a lot of programs have had as a general manager over the past year, hiring those roles. And we've seen this at Mizzou with the men's basketball program hiring Tim Fuller over this past summer. But this is a little bit different than from what Fuller offers and pretty much any other program. And as we've talked about before with the general manager roles across different schools, different programs, different sports, pretty much everyone is made differently. No GM role in college sports is made the same because there is no direct career path to this. This has never been done before. There is no background to look at, no history to look to see what has worked and what hasn't worked. And nobody that started their job in college athletics went into it with the goal of being a general manager for a program like they do all the time in the professionals because that role has existed before. So it's more so catering to what different candidates have to offer. And that definitely fits for what Missouri is getting in Verma here. So, for his expectations for the role listed in this press release, there's some more traditional expectations of a general manager that we've seen, of the roster evaluation. He has a background in finance. So, again, that general manager role of helping out with NIL, with cap planning, and all of that. But then also he has some background with sports analytics. So they have that listed specifically with recruiting and being able to help out in that area. So interested to see exactly on what Verma's role ends up being. Interested to hear also what exactly Eli Drinkwitz was looking for when he wanted to start this search process and just kind of why he thought Verma was a good candidate for this because he does have a varied and interesting background, kind of like Kwesi Adolfo Minnesota, the Minnesota Vikings general manager who has a background in finance and not so much in football. And you compare this hire to Missouri men's basketball hire of Tim Fuller, and Verma has never recruited before. So I would imagine at first it's going to be a lot more of just evaluation of recruits, especially with possible transfer portal players. He doesn't have that experience of one-on-one having to have that interaction like Tim Fuller does. But compared to Tim Fuller, even though Tim Fuller has experience as an executive at places like Nike, Verma has a lot more experience in the financial space. So that's very interesting. Again, every role, every general manager, every executive role that is new in college athletics is not made equally. So I wanted to bring up two mentions of this, two quotes I thought that were interesting to play into this hire. First off, Eli Drinkwitz talked back in April, right before the NCAA House settlement ended up being passed, about the possibility of hiring a general manager, and he wasn't completely shut out to the idea, but he was more so uncertain of what that structure would look like.
Honestly, I haven't made any of those decisions yet. One that would be a conversation Laird and I would have to have because some places the GM's firing the head coach. So I don't necessarily know if I'm going to hire somebody that can fire me. That'd be done, right? But again, this goes back to I don't know what the rules are. I don't know. If that's the structure that we go down because of the new settlement that's in place, then yeah, awesome. I think that's something that would make a lot of sense. If there was a partner that needed to partner with me and handle a little bit more of the business structure side of it, great. But until I really know what that looks like, I think there's not. I think there's a rush to do that.
So Verma is going to report directly to Drinkwitz. So that was one of the Drinkwitz's main questions, as you heard, of how exactly is that power structure going to work? Because in the pros, the general manager is the top person, and the head coach is below him. But especially with this role, it seems like Verma is going to be reporting to him, and Drinkwitz, this is still undeniably going to be his program. And we've seen Drinkwitz being willing to give up not power, but diffuse those responsibilities a little bit more, put his ego to the side, I would say, before with being able to give up those play calling powers, hiring Kirby Moore as an offense coordinator. And that's worked really well for him. You can say what you want about Kirby Moore and the success he's had, but really, it seems like that has really freed up Eli Drinkwitz's schedule quite a bit, and it seems like this hire is going to do the same, and also going to take off a lot of pressure off the coaching staff and the rest of the executives in there too. And then also Laird Veach, I wanted to bring up a quote he said when I had asked him about what I have just mentioned of no general manager role in college athletics being the same and just how this role is being formed. Again, this isn't directly by title a general manager, but a lot of those same roles.
So I think I found it interesting. At one of the the interesting elements of this is the interpretation or definition of GM at different places is different, right? And that's why with Coach Gates, that was important to him. He wanted to have that kind of role on staff and have somebody that can really help him interact directly with agents and manage some of those kinds of elements. So it is going to be different depending on the coach and the sport, and I think that's important, is that we meet coaches where their needs are. Some coaches are positioned differently to manage this than others. So we need to support them in whatever they need, but it also has to then fit within our overall structure and have an accountability to how we manage and make sure we're going through the process that we are establishing to meet the specifics of the house settlement. So there's a lot to it.
So excited to see how exactly Verma ends up helping out this program at Missouri.